Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam nama budaya, salam harmoni. So in this video, we will make a presentation about phonetics and phonology. We are from group 5, but before we go to the presentation, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Niputu Pratnyaswari.
My name is Igusti Ayu Madidita Purnaryan.
My name is Anissa Dextraliani Pertiwi.
My name is Putu Aditya Mesa Putra.
So the first material will be explained by Anissa.
Okay, I will explain about phonetics. Phonetics is the scientific study of human speech sounds, and it aims to provide the set of properties in order to describe and distinguish all the sounds in human language. The science of phonetics attempts to describe all of the sounds used in all languages of the world and reveals how sounds are produced and how they may be classified. So there are three types of phonetics. First is articulatory phonetics, is the study of how speech sounds are produced by the speaker with their human speech apparatus. And the second is acoustic phonetics, is the study of how speech sounds are transmitted from the speaker to the listener. And the last is auditory phonetics, is the study of how speech sounds are heard by the listener. In phonetics, a consonant is a speech sound that is articulated with complete or partial closure of the vocal tract. There are two parts of consonant. Consonants are classified based on where in the vocal tract airflow restriction occurs, which is called the place of articulation. And the second is manner of articulation. The manner of articulation refers to how speech organs such as the tongue, lips, and palate interact with each other when making speech sounds. There are seven parts on the places of articulation. They are bilabial, labiodentals, interdentals, alveolars, palatals, velars, and glottals.
Labial sounds are produced with both lips, like p, b, m. Labiodental sounds are produced with the upper teeth and the lower lip, such as f, v. Interdental sounds are produced with the tongue in between the upper and lower teeth, such as th, th. Alveolar sounds are produced with the tongue at or near the ridge right behind the upper front teeth, such as t, d, s. Palatal sounds are produced at the hard palate or the roof of the mouth, such as sh, zh, y. Velar sounds are produced at the velum or soft palate, such as k, g. And glottal sounds are produced at the glottis, or the space between the vocal folds, such as h, or the catch in the throat, as in Batman.
In manner of articulation, there are voiced and voiceless sounds. Sounds are voiceless when the vocal cords are apart so that air flows freely through the glottis into the oral cavity. If the vocal cords are together, the airstream forces its way through and causes them to vibrate. When you say the voice sounds, you can feel the vibration of the vocal cords, but if you say the voiceless, you will not sense these vibrations. For example, pat and bat. Pat is a voiceless sound, and bat is a voice sounds. Okay, the next material will be explained by Dita.
Okay, I will continue. The material is about vowels. Vowels are pronounced with a little restriction of the airflow from the lungs or throat, the mouth, and or the nose. Quality of vowel depends on the shape of the vocal tracts as the air passes through. So different parts of the tongue may be high or low in the mouth. The lips may be sparse or pursed. Vowels can stand alone. They can be pronounced without consonant before or after them. You can say the vowel of bit, and booth, for example, without the initial B or the final T, but you cannot say a B or T alone without at least a little bit of vowel sound. So this is the video about vowel sound and how to pronounce vowel sound.
E, read. I, sit. U, book. U, to. Ear, here. A, day. Man. America. Word. O, sword. Tour. Oi, boy. O, go. A, cat. But. Pod. Oh, not. Air. Where. I. My. Ow. How.
So the next material is about tongue position. Tongue position is shown that the tongue is high, mid, or low, and shifted forwards or backwards when production vowel in the word. Tongue position consists of two parts. There are height and backness. In height, they are high, mid, and low. And in the backness, they are forward and backward. So when you say a vowel sound in the word, you can feel your tongue is going up and down and move forwards or backwards. For example, when you say E, you can feel your tongue going up and move to the front. So this is the video that makes you more understand about tongue position.
For example, consider the vowel sounds E and Ah. If you say both of these vowels in succession, you should feel your tongue going up and down as you say E, Ah, E, Ah, E, Ah. In terms of height, vowels are either considered high, mid, or low. E is an example of a high vowel, and Ah is an example of a low vowel. Consider the vowels E and U. If you say these vowels in succession, you may notice that your tongue is moving forward and backward as you say E, U, E, U, E, U. In terms of backness, vowels are either considered front, central, or back. Remember that E is a high vowel, but it's also a front vowel, while U is a back vowel.
And the next one is lip rounding. Vowel also differ as to whether the lips are rounded or speared. Other language may have a different or not have rounded vowels. For example, is French and Swedish. They have a front rounded vowels, which English lacks. And English also lacks a high back rounded vowels. So in that picture, you can see when you say E, your mouth is unrounded. And when you say U, your mouth is rounded. So this is the video about lip rounding. You can see in this video when she pronounced a vowel sound that her mouth is rounded or unrounded.
E, 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 U, U, E, E, O, O, A.
And the last one is diphthongs. A diphthong is a sequence of two vowel sounds pushed together. A diphthong is a singular vowel sound that combines two vowel sounds together in the same syllable. In diphthongs, the first sound is stronger than the second one, but it's important that both sounds are made together in the same syllable. For example, the first one is A, as in say, say. The second one is oi, as in boy. And the last one is I, as in like. And this is a video about diphthongs that explain about how to pronounce an example of diphthongs.
Let's start with A, like in say. Now this sound is made with the e and the I vowel sounds pushed together. So it's e as in egg and the I as in sheep. It's e, I, a.
So this is the example of diphthongs A. Day, play, came, and take. So this is the example in a sentence. It's a shame I'm not able to name everyone on the plane. So the diphthongs A is a shame, able, name, and plane.
Oi, as in boy. Now this sound is made from the O and I vowel sounds. O like bought and I like sheep. O, I, oi, oi.
So this is the example of diphthongs oi. Toy, employ, noise. And this is the example oi in the sentence. Avoid the annoying boys and their noisy toys. Avoid those annoying boys and their noisy toys. The diphthongs oi is in the avoid, annoying, boys, and noisy and toys.
I, like bike. Now this sound is the a and the I vowel sounds together. A like cat. A, I.
So this is the example of I is hike, I, child. And this is the another example in the sentence. The child admired the cyclist in the light. The child admired the cyclist in the light. So the diphthongs I is child, admire, cyclist, and delight. So the next material will explain by Maisa.
And the next material that I will explain is about phonology. Now, what is phonology? Phonology is the study of how speech sounds form patterns. The word phonology refers both the linguistic knowledge and the description of that knowledge that linguists linguists try to produce. It tells about the combinations of sounds consists of possible word in your language, whether it has an actual word or non-word. Now, there are two topics in the phonology. The first is pronunciation. I'm sorry, there's two topics that I will explain, which is the pronunciation of morphemes, and the second one is phonemes, the phonological units of language. And in morphemes, there are two topics that will be discussed. First is pronunciation of plurals. The second is almer. Now, pronunciation of plural consists of two, voiced and voiceless alveolar fricative. And almer is a more technical term for a variant of morpheme. Now, here are four columns, which are the examples of pronunciation of plural. Now, the column A is z voice alveolar fricative. And the column B is s voiceless alveolar fricative. And in column C uses is or is. Now, here are the examples of each pronunciation of is, and is.
Cheek, cheeks. Eye, eyes. Eyelash, eyelashes.
And those are the examples of each pronunciation of is, and is. Sorry. And there are a few questions about how do we know how to pronounce this plural morpheme. The answer is that it is useful to make a chart of records of phonological environments in each variant of morphemes that known to occur. Next is about allomer. Allomer, which is the more technical term for a variant of morpheme, is allomer, and it is related to the topic before. Now here you can say you can see allomer z, and is with their environment. To discover the pattern behind the way plurals are pronounced, we look for some property of the environment associated with each group of allomers. Now, I'm sorry, a minimal pair is two words with different meanings that are identical, except for one sound segment that occurs in the same place in each word. For example, cat and cad are minimal pair that differ only in their final segment or in their end. And while cat and mat are a minimal pair that differ only in their initial segment. And here, as you can see, these environments and armors are the noun of the previous plural pronunciation of plural. After is on each cap, cad, bag, lab, left, cam, can, ban, call, bar, spa, and boy, which are the sample is cabs, cads, bags, labs, lost, last, cams, can, apa tohnya itu dah. And here are the further explanation and examples by Professor Dr. Jürgen Hanke from Marburg University, Germany.
Morphs are the basic building blocks of words. They are classified as allomorphs if they have the same grammatical function within a word and thus constitute a family. Let us illustrate that. Here are three nouns, horse, dog, and cat, with their phonemic representation. Their plural forms, which are identical orthographically, involve three different morphs, is, z, and s. But they all have the same function. They denote the plural form of the noun to which they are attached. Thus, they are members of a family of morphs that vary in sound but not in function. Such family members are referred to as allomorphs, and the head term is referred to as the morpheme. Morphs, allomorphs, and the morpheme itself are all represented within curly brackets. In fact, the allomorphs of a morpheme can often be determined by a phonological rule. Take the plural morpheme in present-day English and its allomorphs. The voiced z occurs after voiced phonemes, that is, after vowels and voiced consonants. The voiceless s occurs after voiceless consonants, and the morph is occurs after s, z, zh, and sh, and in terms of distinctive features, after continuant coronals that have the feature sonorant.
And here are additional examples of allomers. In set A, we have float, floated, rate, and rated. Set B, we have grab, grab, hug, hug, face, face, plan, plan. And in set C, we have rip, rip, poke, poke, kiss, kiss, fish, fish, patch, patch. Now, the set A suggests that if the verb ends in a T or D, an ed is added to form the past tense, similar to the insertion of is to form the plural of nouns that end in sibilant. Now, the set B suggests that if the adverb ends in a voice segment other than id, add voice id. Set C shows us that if the verb ends in the voiceless segment other than the, add voiceless the. Now the next one is phoneme. Now this topic we will discuss a few things. First is the allophones, which is a kind of phoneme that changes its sound based on how a word is spelled. The second is how to find a phoneme. Third is complementary distribution of phoneme and the need of similarity. Now this section introduces the notion of phoneme and allophone. Now allophone. Allophone is the perceivable sounds corresponding to the phoneme in various environments. There are four examples: beam and roam, beam and roam, bid and rob, bid and rob. Now, taking oral vowels as basic, the phonemes there are phonological rule that states vowels are nasalized before a nasal consonant with the same syllable. Now, this rule expresses the knowledge of English pronunciation. The nasalized vowels occur only before nasal consonant and never elsewhere. Now, the pair bid and bid are not different words. They are variants of the same word. Therefore, E and E do not belong to the different phonemes. They are two actualizations of the same phoneme. Now, to find one, we can substitute one sound to another in a word to find out if it makes a difference. Now, there are a couple of explanations or a couple of examples. Bid, bid, bait, bed, bat, bite, and boot, but, boat, bought, boat, and bought. Now, any of these words form a minimal pair. The two sounds that cause the word difference belong to different phonemes. Now, next is distributions of phoneme or complementary distribution. Where oral vowels occur, nasal vowels do not occur, and vice versa. In this sense, the phones are said to complement each other or to be in complementary distribution, as I said. Now, the first example focuses on printed letters. Ignore names and acronyms. This rule is only approximately right. It helps to explain why written sentences, such as the following, appear so strange. As you can read, phonology is the study of the sound patterns of human languages. Phonology is the study of the sound patterns of human languages. Now, these sentences violate the rule, though they are comprehensible, just as pronunciation of bis and nasal. A bis with nasal a, and bid would sound funny but be understood. Now, likewise, whether a vowel in English is nasalized or not does not affect meaning. It's still that the same vowel. Now, here's another example is how handwriting on how each other letter drawn differently but still has the same meaning. Example, low and low. Now, the meaning is unaffected by the position of L. Now, whether its position like in glow and blow, it does not affect the meaning of the L. It's still glow and blow. It's still pronounced glow and blow. Now the next material will be presented by Pratnya.
Okay, thank you. So the next one is phonemes need of similarity. Complementary distributions alone is insufficient for determining the allophones when there is more than one allophones in the set. The phones needs to be phonetically similar, share most phonetic features. In English, the fillers, nasals, and glottals fricative are in complementary distributions, does not occur words initially and does not occur words final forms. Therefore, they are not allophones or of the same phonemes and are allophones of different phonemes. S and Z differs in voicings. S is voiceless and Z is voiced. The phonetic features of voicings therefore distinguishes the two words. Voicings also distinguishes fill and fills, and cap and cap, P or B. When a feature distinguishes one phoneme from another, hence one word from another, it is a distinctive features. So the next one is phonemes features values. The presence or absence of nasality can similarly be designated as plus nasals or min nasals, with M being plus nasals and B and P being min nasals. A, min nasals, sounds is an oral sounds. A more explicit descriptions of the phonemes P, B, and M may be given in the features matrix of the following sorts. Aspiration is not listed as phonemics features in the specifications of this unit 4 because P and PH do not represent different phonemes in English. In a phonetics transcriptions, however, the aspiration features would be specified where it occurs. Phonemes non-distinctive features. Some features may be distinctive for one class of sounds, but non-distinctive for another. Example, nasality is a distinctive features of English consonants, but not a distinctive features for English vowels. It is almost impossible to predict and, M, or an can occur in an English word. You learn this when you learn the words. On the other hand, the nasality features value of the vowels in bin, min, com, and sing is predictable because they occur before nasal consonants. Thus, the futures nasals is non-distinctive for vowels. The next one is phonemics patterns variations across language. Aspirations of voiceless stops further illustrates the asymmetry of the phonological systems of different language. But aspirated and unaspirated voiceless stops occurs in English and Thai, but they functions differently in the two languages. Aspirations in English is not a distinctive features because its presence and absence is predictable. In Thai, it is not predictable, as the following examples show. Voiceless, unaspirated, pa for forest, thumb to pound, cat to bite, pa to split, thumb to do, cut to interrupt. And next, we have natural classes of speech sounds. In English, phonological rules determines the environments in which vowels are nasalized or voiceless stops aspirated. These rules apply to all the words. To all the words in the English, in the language, and even apply to made-up words such as sin, pig, and spark, which would be sin, pig, and sparks phonemically, and sins, pigs, and sparks phonetically. Okay, the questions is why do phonological rules exist? Many languages believe that phonological rules exist to ensure that the surface or phonetics forms of words do not violate phonetics constraints. Okay, the phonetics constraints. There appears to be a phonetics constraints in English. Number one is obstruent sequences may not differ with respect to their voice features at the end of the word. English does not generally permit sequence of sounds within a single syllable that are very similar to each other, such as KK, KG, GK, GG, PP, SZ, ZS, and so on. The words spelled EGG and PUPPY are phonetically egg and puppy. Next. Okay, the relevance constraints is sequences of obstruents that differs most with respect to voicings are not permitted within English words. For examples, constraint B might also explain why an adjective such as smooth turns into the abstract noun smoothness. Rather than taking the affix th, as in wine and white, broad and breadth, and deep and depth. Thus, phonological rules exist because language have general principles that constrains possible sequence of sounds. Okay, the next material is phonological analysis.
Suaramu bergema.
Masa?
Hmm.
Dia Anissa enggak? The next material is phonological analysis. To do the phonological analysis, the words to be analyzed must be transcribed in great phonetics detail because we do not know in advance which phonetics features are distinctive and which are not. By analyzing the data, we find that K and X contrast in numbers of minimal pairs, for examples in Kano and Seno. K and X are therefore distinctive. C and C also contrast in the Sino and Sino and are therefore distinctive. Everything it is possible to analyze depends on the clear methods of distinguishing the similars from the dissimilars. So the conclusions for these presentations are: phonetics is the study of speech sounds. It aims to provide the set of properties in others to describe and distinguish all the sounds in human language. Types of phonetics: number 1 is articulatory phonetics, number 2 is acoustic phonetics, number 3 is auditory phonetics. For the phonology, phonology is the study of how speech sounds forms patterns. It tells about the combinations of sounds consist of possible words in your language, whether it is an actual words or a non-words. The topics: number 1, the pronunciations of morphemes. The number 2 is phonemes, the phonological units of language. So that's it for the presentations. Thank you, and Santi. Bye-bye.